Hi, it's Rabbi David Kaplan with my pre-Shabbos message for Shabbos Hagadol, the Shabbos before Passover, to Ov Tzedek and beyond. I want to focus my comments with you this Erev Shabbos on the concept of the Chumash, the new book, the third book of the Chumash that we began last week, Vayikra, and the interrelationship between the new Chumash and Passover and Pesach. Vayikra begins, not shockingly, with the word Vayikra, and God called to Moshe, to Moses. And it's written in the Torah, Alpi Mesorah, through our tradition from Mount Sinai, from Moshe. It is written with what's called an Aleph Ze'ira, this tiny little Aleph. So when you read it in the Torah, it's Vav Yud Kuf Resh, Vayikar, and then the little Aleph. And this was, interestingly, a compromise position between Hashem and Moshe. Moshe felt in his tremendous anivus, in his humility, that he should not be different than the other great Navi, the other great prophet of the nations of the world, Bilam, the wicked Bilam. And whenever God interacted with Bilam, it says, Vayikar, God chanced upon Bilam, not with divine providence, but happenstance. And Moshe felt, Moses says to Hashem, why should I be any different? But you are different, Hashem says. Vayikra. And so when Hashem invited the dialogue, he did it with the Aleph to differentiate Moshe from Bilam, yes, but to show the humility of Moshe, of Moses, he acquiesced by writing the little Aleph. Our rabbis explain that that little Aleph makes an entire world of difference. For the word Vayikar, as we said, happenstance. Things happen to people by coincidence. It also has a connotation of kar, coldness, devoid of personal relationship and warmth. Whereas Vayikra, with the Aleph, is a language of chiba, of love, that God specifically, out of his love for Moshe, for Moses, invited him into this relationship. And this, my friends, is the essence of Passover. For in addition to meaning Pesach, to pass over, it also has a connotation of love, chas, that God, out of a love, a mercy for the Jewish people, and the relationship that he was desirous of, passed over our homes in the land of Egypt, that faithful Passover, 2448, on the 15th of Nisan. The anniversary, of course, is coming up this Wednesday evening. And therefore, Pesach has that connotation of love, of chas, care, mercy, pity. And it's even brought out later when we read the magical Shir HaShirim, the ultimate love story, the Song of Songs during Passover, that illustrates that relationship, that love that God has for his people. There's an additional meaning brought down by Chazal, by our rabbis, of the word Pesach. Then in addition to meaning to pass over literally, and as we have just discussed, chas, care, pity, mercy, love, it also can mean to guard, to watch over. And we know that Passover is called the night, Alel Shimurim, a night of watching, of guarding, that Hashem guarded his people. This Passover is going to be sadly and tragically unique for us, not in a good way. We're going to be alone with our immediate family, or literally alone. But much like the Jewish people in Egypt experienced this same sense of isolation and distancing from their neighbors, for they weren't permitted to venture forth from their homes. They were quarantined. And the night of Passover, there was a magefa, a very real plague that was out and about, seeding destruction upon their neighbors, the Egyptian, and the firstborn. And we too have that sense of a magefa, of a disease, a plague that is out there. And this Passover Wednesday night, when we gather either with our immediate family, like the Jewish people of Egypt did, or even if you're alone, know that you're not alone. That chipa, that love, vayikra, that God has for you and for the Jewish people is ever present. And the Leil Shimurim, God should watch out and protect each and every one of you, all of the Jewish people, every American, every member of humanity, that this should be a Pesach that will herald a redemption. And in the same way that the original Passover was fraught with danger, worry, the unknown, much like today, that the Geula happened in an instant. In a flash of light the next morning, there was redemption. Should be that this Passover is a Passover of Shmirah, that God watches over us. But Shmirah also means to anticipate the future, mitzapeh, to await the upcoming redemption from slavery. And if we're a little bit like slaves this year because of our confined quarters, next year in Jerusalem should be for us, for all of Israel, a bracha, that this should be a unique Passover, but one that will propel us and all of humanity towards the light. I wish everyone Shabbat Shalom.